This is going to be an amazing episode of Agents in the Trenches, the real raw realities. But we're coming today, pulling back the curtain on what is taking our real estate industry in so many different arenas to another level. And it is the world of womenpreneur. Women are no longer just closing deals and writing contracts or leading teams. Women in the real estate arena and these womenpreneurs are creating huge tribes. They're becoming leaders of impact. They're bringing together huge communities to really dominate in their markets and beyond. So today I'm super, super excited to bring this conversation because I think it is so relevant. I mean, we are in a world of constant change, and women are leading from the front and not just taking a piece of the market, but they're impacting their own markets and beyond. So today I have my dear business partner and friend, someone that is very near and dear to my heart, and my co-host for the day, Rebecca Soto. And it's always an honor to see you here. And you are one of those womenpreneur that is, getting into those right rooms, right circles. You're traveling the nation, and you're just building, building, building. And so please introduce yourself and tell everyone so much about you, but as much as you can, so our audience knows more of who you are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Lucy. This is always an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. Yes, I am Rebecca Soto. I'm based out of Orlando, Florida, and I've been almost 20 years in the real estate industry, mostly working with my husband, building our team. And what else can I say? Oh, I don't know. So many things, right? So been through many different markets, and what else? Oh, author of the book Married in Real Estate. And just what I'm passionate about is building leaders. And so specifically, other womenpreneurs, and also working with couples in real estate as well. And just trying to leave an impact, right? And so just having a lot of fun doing this. And of course, alongside you, Lucy, which makes this all the more fun.
So let's kick it off I would like you to tell everyone that's watching, right? Because I believe, real estate was always a very traditional man's world business. But the world has changed in real estate, and it continues to evolve and it continues to change. And I wanted us to kind of pull back the curtain on the world of womenpreneur in real estate. And, you and I have been getting some of those big thinker, big mastermind rooms. We're seeing the evolution of real estate. We're seeing how it's no longer the same old way of doing business, but we're also seeing the rising of women that are building communities and women that are leading from the front, and they're making an impact. Give us some of your perspective and what you've seen recently that has really, caused a shift, not just in your mind, but also in my mind and many people's minds.
Well, I think, we certainly bring something very special to the table, because I feel like as women, we are very heart driven. And I think, having come from a male dominated industry, now being quickly infused by so many amazing women, it has really changed the dynamics in this industry and opened up an opportunity for women to rise. And I think it's a really beautiful thing. And the truth is, sometimes what I notice is that women tend, by their limiting beliefs, to hold themselves back. And so I don't think it's any longer where, where because it was male driven, males are not allowing women into the space. I think sometimes there's mental barriers that we need to overcome, so that we can feel that we are qualified, so that we can feel that we can get into those rooms and take a seat at the table and be able to have conversations and say, you know what, you need to know me, right? And so I think that that's part of the message that I want to be able to help women understand, is that we need to unlock those limiting beliefs that are in our minds. And it's amazing what we can do when we do that, when we allow ourselves to be free.
And so break it down for us a little bit. You were telling me a story yesterday of different women that you've seen, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, you've been in powerful organizations like NAREP. You've seen women rise up to presidency in those roles. You've always been very active alongside your husband. And like you said, you've written a book. How have you seen the evolution, and where does it begin, right? So we have the limiting thoughts and the limiting beliefs, but could you break it down to what you've seen or what you've even done to say, no, you know what? Here's the first step. Here's
Mm.
how I'm going to reposition myself, redesign. I'm going to reset because I want to get up there. I don't want to stay playing small.
I love that. I love that. Well, number one is that I see that sometimes people will feel that they're too preoccupied with one thing, one area of their life, and they don't feel that they can take the time for something extra. So, like, take the example of NAREP, for example. And so, this is an organization where you're not necessarily making money from this. So, it's hard to rationalize, well, what's my ROI on participating in this organization? And so I think we have to kind of change our mindset around that and maybe look at it from a new lens. What am I going to learn? What skill do I have that I can contribute? And what am I going to learn and receive back? Right. And I think
Mhm.
always opportunities for us to learn and grow. And if we don't stay open to that, then you'll never know. And you'll only ever stay in your own bubble, right? In your own little corner of the world. And when we do come into these opportunities and say, okay, let me just give it a chance and see where this takes me, you can find that all of a sudden the doors open up. And what you couldn't see before, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, that's what this is all about. And so new opportunities come in. So number one is being open-minded and allowing yourself to come into an organization, any organization, it doesn't have to be that one. There's so many out there, and just give it an opportunity to see, what can I learn from this experience? How can I contribute? Like, it's not just what I could receive, but what can I also give back?
Mhm.
And I've always learned that when I give, somehow I end up receiving even more. Sometimes I think I'm blessing someone else, and I'm the one that gets blessed in return. I'm like, whoa, what just happened here?
That's so powerful. That's so
Yeah,
powerful because, we always feel that if we give it away, we're losing. And I know that's something that is totally the opposite, right?
right. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited because for the first time, I'm going to get to meet someone a little bit up close and personal on this podcast. But tell me a little bit about the trajectory of you and our guest. How did you guys meet? You know, how did everything evolve? And now today she's here with us today to continue this conversation.
Wonderful. So our next guest is Josie, right? And I did meet her through the company that we work for, and literally just scheduled an appointment to meet her. I'm like, I need to know who she is. She's our
Oh,
new regional growth director, and I need to know who she is. And of course I was already following her on social media. I could see what an amazing person that she is. She is such a beautiful light, always giving love. She is a fashionista, and she's also spirit filled. So she's always sharing her faith and also sharing how you can continue growing in real estate. She shares all these things, plus a little bit of her own family life and stuff. So super well rounded. And what's not to love about her, I'm so excited that you guys get to meet her, but literally just having a virtual conversation that eventually led to us meeting in person. And so, to be honest, really that has been the start of it, but I'm excited for where it continues growing. And we're going to be all meeting soon as we're doing a 5K race together. And
nice.
so she'll be joining us. I don't know that she'll be doing the 5K, but she'll be spending some time with us so that we can get some R&R and get to know each other even more.
I'm excited to learn more about her because I always wonder what it looks like to be in her world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as women, you just said sometimes our limiting beliefs hold us back, or many times, right? But
Yeah.
then we dare to reach out, but then you still have to walk it out. I mean, just
Mm.
showing up is not enough, right? You were saying about how one of the things we can do to develop our own identity of belonging is serving. That's kind of
Mhm.
how I interpreted what you
Yeah.
said. You start serving in
Mhm.
organizations, you start serving in different circles, and then you realize, like, oh my God, I came here to serve, but look how much I've been blessed by growing and learning and evolving, and just that power of proximity, which I'm experiencing right now to a whole new level. But let's go ahead and bring out Josie Baez. And it is so good to see you here with us in Agents in the Trenches. Welcome, Josie.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So go ahead. I always like to say no one knows you better than you. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you used to do, what you're doing now, and what's in the future.
Yes. I always think this is such an awkward question. Like, I don't know if this is true to you, but I hate talking about myself. It's just so weird. I always feel silly. But I'm Josie Mota Baez. I am the Regional Growth Director for the state of Florida for eXp Realty. Prior to me taking this position, I was actually at Keller Williams, and I played a couple of roles there. My entire real estate career, all 10 years of it, was sort of with KW. I started from the bottom and I worked my way up, right? That's what I like to say. I started as an administrative assistant, worked my way up to being the regional operations manager for the South Florida region, which covered offices from Tampa all the way down to Key West. And then after that, I moved down to the South Florida area, became the COO of 5 very productive offices down here. And the last role that I took was team leader or director of growth. It's kind of like their position as well, where I was just recruiting top talent. And so Veronica Figueroa was the one that introduced me to this company and reached out, and I later took on this position. But aside from all of that, I'm also a mom. I'm also a wife. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 15 years. And I'm also a very God-fearing woman. And I have a passion for sharing the gospel in corporate, sharing the gospel in community, and uplifting and empowering women to really step into, the trailblazers that they are.
Woo, I got chills right there. That is so powerful. I mean, faith and business, right? Faith and success. Oh my gosh, I got chills. Not, I mean,
Yes.
literally.
And honestly, I feel like there's such a big void because a lot of times you're like, oh, we don't want to talk about God in corporate. And I feel like corporate and business is the people in the community that need God the most. And so I'm
Come
super
on.
excited about it.
Wow, I love that. You are a woman with a vision, with a purpose, right? I could feel that. You are fearless in sharing your faith. I think that that is
Right.
so powerful, right? Because faith and finances, at the end of the day, they all come from the creator, as far as I'm concerned, right? He is the creator of everything. So the root of our finances and our faith are based on he who created us. So I love that. And yes, corporate, that's not necessarily the place where people feel comfortable
Mhm.
just saying who you are. So I love that identity. Isn't that powerful, Rebecca?
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
I have a question, Josie. Take us back to your beginnings because, right? So you are a trailblazer now. You have done phenomenal things, but take us back to the beginning and when you first started to develop the identity that you now flow in.
Mhm.
Begin.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I'm Latina. I am from the Dominican Republic. I was born in New York City, in Manhattan, and my mom took me to DR at 4 months. So I actually was raised in the Dominican Republic. My first language was Spanish. I'm an island girl through and through, it's very, very different. I later on came back to New York City. I was about 6, and I was the ESOL student, right? I did not know not even how to say yes in English, right? So I went to school. I learned English. I became the honor roll student, the National Honor Society student. Later on, went to high school and got a full ride to college. I was a little genius, right? And I always felt that because I was coming into this country that I didn't really relate to. And this country, I mean, the United States, right? Because I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I always felt like I had to outperform people, right? Like I had to go the extra mile. And so that's been ingrained in me since a little girl, just kind of like, you know what, I have to do double the work because I don't know the language. I have to do double the work because I have to prove myself to people, right? And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because I've always been really competitive and I've always felt like I needed the outside validation. It wasn't until my adult years that I realized that my true validation and identity came from God, and that there was no way that your God identity is unshakable. And so when I learned that as a woman and as a mom and an entrepreneur and a business person, I was like, okay, I don't care what anybody thinks. I am me. My identity is what gets me into the rooms that I'm in, not what I've done, not my accolades. It's who I am as a person. So
Wow. Oh, I love this. This just took on a whole new dimension, people. If you're watching us live or if you're watching us on replay, I mean, share this with someone, because here's what I know.
yeah,
God created us for big things, right?
yeah,
And He called us before the foundation of the world to live out a purpose and a mission.
that's right.
And then we come, into this earthly realm, and we are bombarded by so many challenges, by so many, experiences that mark us.
Yeah.
And then there's still that heartbeat of a vision, of a dream, of an aspiration, of, when you're little, you dream and you're not scared.
Yeah.
But then after you've lived some time in the imperfect world that we are part of, I don't know about anybody else, but there was a moment where I stopped dreaming. I stopped dreaming because I really thought, like, this is so impossible. And I can literally tell you when I stopped dreaming, and I can literally tell you when I woke up again. And I said, no, I'm going to start dreaming again. So I say this because there's so many people out there that are also caught up in that space. Maybe they stopped dreaming, and now this message can wake them up again, and they can start like saying, you know what? Heck no, I'm not going to be left behind. Why? Tell me about the early challenges that mark your leadership
Yeah.
for where you are now.
Yeah. Well, I think that you're absolutely right. Most women who are visionaries and trailblazers, they always come to this roadblock, right? And I always say, you don't have to have the big plan. You just have to have the vision. If you have the vision, that's what's going to drive you. And there were many roadblocks that I faced, but the number one struggle with me was that I felt that I was too young. Right. I felt that I was like I wasn't qualified enough. I was too young to be in the rooms that I was in. And I only thought that myself. Nobody else was thinking that. I was self-sabotaging. And so a lot of times I was like, oh my God, I don't deserve this. And once you start telling yourself that, often you get imposter syndrome. You begin to be like, you don't deserve this. You're here by luck, by chance. And I realized that, through prayer, obviously my faith is everything. It's the foundation. I realized that the steps that I was taking was bigger than myself. The rooms that I was sitting in was part of God's bigger plan for me. And so I really stopped focusing on that. And also being in a male dominated industry, right? And then also being young or looking young, that was always a struggle, but I always depended on a higher power. And I was like, if you made me for a time like this, right? Like Esther 4:14, the queen says, you were made for such a time like this. And I was like, I'm here. You direct my steps. You put me in this room at this time. So help me fulfill the assignment that you put me here for. And so once I made that switch, it was a game changer for me.
I'd like to add something, and that is so powerful, Josie. The truth is, like for me in my life, there was a time where I was faced with a very heartbreaking challenge, and it was everything in my life was upside down and going wrong, and I believe that those times were happening for me. And even though it was breaking my heart, crying each night and things, that were heavier than what I could handle at the time, especially for my age at the time, I remember saying, God, I'm going to trust in you. God, get me through this. And we have to go through those hard times to become the leader that we were meant to be. And so, leaders aren't made in the easy times, right? It's in those hard times and how we navigate through that, how we bounce back from things, harsh things that happen to us. That's what births the leader in you. And it also births a passion that makes you want to be empathetic towards others and want to help to build others, and so that others won't have to go through what you're going. You want to be able to help others, right? That is born through those challenges that we go through. And so and also the other part of that I learned was, if I'm truly trusting that God is in control and he's going to get me through this, then I will not be upset when things don't go my way. Because sometimes we have a plan for ourselves and then that door is shut in your face and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, I want to come in this way. And you can feel rest assured when that door closes, that door wasn't meant for you to go through. And then instead, I changed my perspective to get excited because I'm like, okay, God, you closed this door for me. This is something that I really wanted, but I know that you have something greater. I know that you have better things for me. And so now I'm shifting my focus to, what do you have for me? What's that door I need to walk through? I don't want it for me if it's not in your will. So when you have that level of faith and trust, you don't get upset when things don't go your way. You don't get mad that maybe you feel somebody probably got in your way or took that chance from you, because it wasn't them. God didn't have that for you. So you don't even have to get upset. So like those things usually got me through. And still today, it's a principle that I live by, that if something doesn't work out for me, it's okay. Where are we headed to next, God? I trust you.
That's right. I love that you shared that. That is so accurate. And I think everybody should, I feel like if everybody knew that, they'd be Godfident, right? Not confident, but Godfident, right?
Wow, I like that. Confidence. Woo,
Just
I like that.
Godfident. Yeah.
So I've trained over 4,500 humans in my training career, which started in 2012 out of desperation because I had survived the market crash. I didn't even know what to do to rebuild. I didn't even know where to start. I was so scared, but I was just happy that I had not gone out of business. I own my own Century 21 company. I started out in 2005 with these amazing, incredible dreams, and I never expected to live the 2008 market crash. That didn't even exist for me. Talk about naive, right? So out of desperation, I started training my own agents. I went from 125 agents to 19, and 18 of them had a job.
Wow.
And I'm like, what do I do? So I started training my agents. I'd never trained an agent in my life, but out of desperation, it was do or die. So I tell you that to tell you this. Fast forward 4,500 humans later, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, all nationality, all ethnicities. We already know that in our industry, 87% or maybe more, but at least 87% don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, listen, I was that person that had all the odds stacked up against her.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was I a first generation immigrant, not only did I move into a city where no one knew me, not only did I come from a field that had absolutely nothing to do with sales, the medical field, not only I was I programmed with huge limiting thoughts, huge issues with, not belonging, because in New York, in school, my whole life was go back where you came from, go back where you came from, right? Not only was I the one that never even had a childhood because I got here to hustle and struggle with my parents, you know? So I want you to speak to the humans that are out there that get into the industry wanting it and then give up because it's taking too long, because
Mhm.
they think that, it's easier for somebody else. And I'll tell you the truth, nobody escapes from the challenges and the trials. Speak to those people that are either on the verge of quitting or that have quit, but they're like early enough to get back in. Because real estate changed my life. I would not be who I am, where I am, doing what I've done, or going where I'm going if it wasn't for my faith, but also my determination, because it's not easy.
Yeah. That's a great question. And I think that it's really hard to speak to everyone, but I will say if you're in real estate and you're thinking about quitting because things are not going great, you need to ask yourself why you got into this industry in the first place, right? Reverse engineering. Why did you get into the industry and what's your end goal?
Mhm.
And I think that that will reveal so much to you. Like what is your end goal? Some of us just come in because we think that it's going to be a flashy lifestyle, a nice car, more time flexibility, vacations, and it's totally the opposite. Real estate is a really hard career. And another question that I tell people is if you cannot manage yourself, right? Because a realtor, you got to have time management, you have to have accounting skills, marketing skills. You can't teach motivation. I can't motivate you. Like I could motivate you for a second, but you can't teach that. It's a skill. Those are real estate is skills that you have to learn. And so I always say, why are you in real estate? Why did you want to join? And that'll reveal so much. If they tell you, oh, because I really wanted a nice house, or oh, because I wanted, I want more vacations. You got to dig deeper. You want more vacations, okay, and then after the vacations, what? Right? And so
Mhm.
you're also only as good as your systems are. Why are you failing? Why is your business not going the way that you want it to go? Have you cleaned up your systems? Your business is only as good as your systems. If you don't have systems in this business, you're never going to make it. And also, who are you surrounding yourself with? I speak to
Mhm.
different agents in different companies all the time, and they don't have the support. And it takes one connection for your entire life to change.
Yes.
Not five,
Mhm.
not seven. It's just one connection. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you humble enough to ask for help? Because a lot of time pride gets in the way,
Mhm.
right? Ask for help,
Mhm.
ask for assistance. Don't be afraid to be the person learning. When I was starting in real estate, I literally asked my mentor, listen, I know you're busy. I just want to sit in your car as you're driving around to all of your showings and all of your listings and just hear you. You don't even have to speak to me. I won't say anything. I just wanted to tune into your conversations.
Powerful.
I wanted to learn.
Mhm.
It's asking that. It's reverse engineering. Well, why are you here? Why did you join real estate first? And it'll reveal a lot to that person.
I'm
What
going
do
to
you
agree
think?
with that. I'm going to
Yes.
agree with that. And I think that to just dive in a little deeper, you have to be willing to do the work. So decide what you want to do, what type of prospecting activity you want to do, and be committed every day. Build the daily habits so that you can create that foundation in your business, those daily disciplines that you are doing, rain or shine, making your numbers or not making your numbers, but you are committed every day to the outcome, to the activity, and you will have success over time in your business. Not every day is going to be super productive and successful, but if you stay the course, you will reach your numbers. And so all too often I see people who quit on themselves and they say, well, it's just easier to go get a part-time, and then they're working as a server. And there's nothing wrong with being a server, but if your goal was to be a real estate agent, give it the chance, put in the work, And I
Mhm.
promise you, it'll pay you better, and you will have more time for your family. You will be able to have that freedom, that time freedom that you're looking for. Many people come in here because they want to have the freedom, flexibility to be there for their families. Well, you
Mhm.
have to be committed to do the activities every day, regardless of the situations that come around. Sometimes it's not so glamorous. When you pick up the phone and they don't want to hear your voice, that happens. But you have to be committed, because there are too many people who do want to hear your voice. There are people who do want to work with you. And so you have to just stay consistent every day, and God will put those people in your path, but you have to be willing to get out there and do the work.
That's right. And just one more thing, like, the world is your prospect. Too many times I hear agents say, "Oh, I didn't have enough leads. I don't have leads."
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but do you get out of your house? Do you go to the gym? Because I'm pretty sure there's more than 100 people there at the gym. Do you go to the supermarket? Because I'm pretty sure there's more than 100 people there. Your world is your
Mhm.
prospect. If you
Mhm.
don't open your mouth to get business, closed mouths do not get fed. And so you have
Yes.
to want that enough. And unfortunately, like, people can't, I can't teach that,
Mhm.
Yes.
it's you. It has to come from you.
So, for everyone that's joining us and watching, this is a special episode where we're pulling back the curtains and we are sharing the world of womenpreneur in real estate. The real estate industry is no longer just a man's world. Women are showing up and they are rising up, and they're not just closing deals in heels, like people say, right? But they're dominating, they're making an impact, they're influencing others, and they're demonstrating that, you know what, we also have gifts and talents for the business world. We also, believe in ourselves, and are daring enough to go into the rooms that are male dominated, and hey, sit there and bring in our talents and our gifts. And of course, not by coincidence, but by God incidence, we are three faith-based
Yeah.
business women that know that God called me to do great things. God, appointed me for this time, for a reason, in this season. And I'm going to show up and show out, even though we've got to go through all the trials and tribulations, because trust me, it's not easy. Nobody sees us. Let's talk about this a little bit in the time that we have left. People see our glory, but they don't see our story. They don't see
Mhm.
the long hours. They don't see the moments of despair. They don't see the head down, the heart open, just believing, and the fixing of the mind where you're like, no, I don't care. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm getting to the other side. They don't see those lonely moments of
Mhm.
sacrifice and suffering. Share with us a little bit about how that has been for you, Josie, and of course for you, Rebecca.
Yeah, I will say that it's funny because we live in a highlight world, right? Highlight reel, whatever you see on social media must be true. That's what everybody's going through. And honestly, success is not built, like I've always told myself, success is not built on convenience. It's built on intentionality. And you have to be so intentional about your habits every single day. It's those little habits that amount to that atomic growth that we all experience. And so a lot of things that people don't see. I'm up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning,
Wow.
an
Mhm.
hour with God every single day. I
You
run a
go.
Bible study with women on Wednesday nights that I don't post about on my social media, right? Because those are very intimate moments and conversations. I have a community of women that prays for me and backs me up, right? All the time when I'm struggling with things. I don't post that on social media. I take probably like 5 walks a day. I work from home. I go out and I take care of my health. The
Mhm.
food that I put into my body is extremely important. Like, a lot of times we're like, yeah, well, what do you do? I take care of myself, my spirit, my body, my temple, what I listen to, what I say. That's all important. That all affects your productivity. And so it's all about being intentional with your business every single day. I start my
Mhm.
mornings off like that because when I don't, everything's off track, everything. And I think Rebecca mentioned it earlier. If you shift your mindset, right, to just saying everything's happening for me and not to me, that's a game
Mhm.
changer. And if
Yes.
you also change your mindset from saying, oh, I need to go open this house, I need to go drive my buyers around, or I need
Mhm.
to, submit this offer, to I get to submit this offer, I get to drive my buyers around. Like, if you just shift your words, there's so much power in words and in your habits. It's going to change your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think you can't really give if you're serving from an empty cup,
Yeah.
right? So you
Yes.
have to take that initiative to fill yourself up. And that's another important piece that I'm so glad that you shared, Josie, because I feel like all too often, especially as women, I think everybody, men as well, there's those times that you're feeling empty, that you feel like you have nothing to give, or you just lack the motivation, and you start isolating yourself because you don't feel like showing up. And so what happens is you do become a lonely person on your own island, and you
Yes.
did it to yourself. And so what do you have to do to break out of that? Well, Tony Robbins will tell us that you just need to get into motion. Do anything, get into motion. Activity is going to help get you out of that funk. And so the truth is, I feel number one, you have to be plugged in. And I see too many agents that are in their own lane. They're just running like a crazy hamster on the hamster wheel, but they aren't doing anything to fill themselves up. So I love, that when you start your day, if you're a person of faith, you're filling yourself up, with reading, meditating, praying, whatever that takes, do it, right? Because that is feeding your soul. And if you're not a person of faith and you're meditating and doing whatever it is that you do, but have your system, have your routine that helps to help fill you up so that you can come out energized. So you're coming out with your best face forward so that you can face the day. And I think that's really important for all of us, so that we are taking charge of motivating ourselves, right? We're not dependent on someone else. Come on, inspire me so that I could be motivated. No, we have to take that initiative. Listen to a podcast, read a book, something that gets you energized, fired up. Listen to positive music. For me, it's faith music. That always fills me up so that I feel, okay, I got this. I can take the day, right? But
Yeah.
if you're not leading yourself, number one, how could you ever lead anyone else? Your family, your clients, your team members, if you're not a team leader. I mean, we're still leaders. Every one of us is a leader, but you have to fill yourself up. You have to take charge, plug into meetings. If commit to one meeting. So
Mhm.
I see a lot of agents who don't plug into any meetings, and then they're lost, and then they're completely disconnected. Plug in. You have to plug in. So my 2 cents.
This is so powerful. I love that we're pulling back the curtain and we're having the real raw realities of, the world of womenpreneur. Josie, you are a phenomenal example of the power of decision. Like, if I've heard you say anything, is I decided,
That's
I
right.
made a decision.
Mhm.
Because look, at the end of the day, those that are called are not always qualified, but those that are called will become qualified when
Mhm.
they step into their identity. You talked about, being raised in the Dominican Republic, you know, showing up and maybe feeling like you didn't have what it took, and all these other feelings and emotions, but you made a decision, which is really, I'm cutting off from what I've always done and I'm stepping into this new identity.
Right.
And I can't help but think, in the last minutes that we have 4 minutes left. I want to respect everyone's time. You know, what's the number one trait? Because I want to say this real quick, guys, ladies, women, gentlemen. Josie just gave us the perfect schedule. She said, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I
Mhm.
get with my creator. I let him download into my mind, my spirit, my feelings, my emotions, my sentiments, everything that makes me.
Yep.
So then I go take care of myself, because just like on an airplane, it's me first. If I don't love me, I won't have anything to give. And then you go into your day, deal with all the stuff, and then you take moments out to reset. I mean, we've got what it takes, ladies and gentlemen, but we need to take the time out to develop. that which we have. So, oh my God, I love this. Josie, what's the number one trait to get to where you are, to overcome everything you've overcome? Can you identify that for us? What is that number one trait of leadership that is required?
Yeah. I would say, I would say two. It's number one, integrity and servant leadership.
Mm, so
Those are
strong.
the two things: integrity to yourself, to your values, to being a woman or man of your word, um,
Ooh,
to,
come on
respecting
now.
your clients' needs, right? You're helping others. Like, integrity is number one. Like, you're only as good as what you do and what you say. Um, and that would have to be it. If I had to choose one, it's that one. It's having
Mm.
integrity.
Wow. Oh my goodness. We could be here for another hour.
Oh,
I can't wait to meet you in person.
me
I thank
either.
you for, shutting your agenda, moving stuff around to be here, because I honestly feel that Agents in the Trenches, our audience, which is local, national, and international, needs to hear this. We need to come forth. I applaud you for being a woman of faith that's living out the word.
Thank you.
Um, we need more women and men living out the word, living it, not
Yes.
just reading it, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to let you close it out with a powerful message, whatever's on your heart. And again, I can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you so much. Rebecca, I love you, girl. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Um,
you. No, thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Rebecca, for always thinking about me. I really appreciate it. I would say, and I have to run because I have a call in 1 minute, but I would say, if you're struggling with anything, or if you're just know that your authenticity, like who you are, is your edge. That's your special sauce. Everybody can make the same lasagna, pero el sazón tuyo, Lucy, es el sazón tuyo. And so that's your special spark. And just know that your identity is your identity, and that is the gift to the world. If we were all the same, this world would be extremely boring. And so who you are is what you bring to the table. So step into that power.
woo, I could not have said it better. Thank you, Josie. We are going to, everybody go follow Josie. I mean, grow, learn. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna, close this out with my friend Rebecca. I know you got to run as well. Close us out, girl. This has been an amazing, amazing 45 minutes of full fire, and I mean, so much wisdom.
I love it. I love it. And it's been such an honor to be here with you and with Josie as well. And I'm going to say my one word is just having grit. People who have grit, they can maintain their motivation and their determination over a longer period of time. They don't give up when things get hard. It doesn't mean they have failures. It means they bounce back and they stay persistent towards the vision and the goal, and they keep their eyes looking up towards the creator who is guiding them. So come what may, they stay the course and you will see success. Doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it. So that's my take on all of this. It's been amazing to be here with all of you, and I look forward to doing more sessions here with Agents in the Trenches, and pouring into people, because this is what activates me. I love being able to give back to our community, to the people, our audience, whoever's watching, because I hope that this can inspire someone to keep going. So having come out of the Girls with Grit conference, which was amazing and powerful, and I think that everyone has to be plugged in. So get plugged into the Agents with Trenches, and so we'll keep doing this, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. And I think we're going to have to do a part 2 of the world of womenpreneur in real estate, women that are showing up, rising up, leveling up, and impacting the world of real estate. Not because it's easy, but because we were called to do this. See you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone. Share this with a friend.